Welcome to Product Coffee. This is a usually weekly. We've had a few weeks off this month, but usually we have a weekly meetup of product people from around the world who join us at 7:30 Eastern time to work on our careers, work on building connections and networks with other strong, passionate product people, and so that we can deliver better products to the world. And we cover topics that are on your mind. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Today, we're going to be talking about the second part of our conversation about really expressing and documenting and capturing and communicating your product vision within your organization and even to your customers in a way that's really meaningful. But before we do that, I got a couple of things I'd like to really kind of touch in on. And the first is I want to thank our sponsors. Product Coffee is a free event for everybody. We do this as, we do this on a regular basis. It takes a lot of resources to pull off this kind of weekly live stream and the work that we do. We have a lot of volunteers that help us make this a reality. And we also have a lot of sponsors that really help us out. So I want to thank Method, which is a digital software development and design agency, works in customer experience and digital strategy, all the way from ideation to software delivery for Method clients. And Jeff Meddy is here representing Method as well as myself. It's the company that I work for. Joined Method after we started Product Coffee, so it's just been a great time and a great experience. We'd love to talk to you more about that. Also want to thank the Pragmatic Institute, who has been supporting Product Camp and Product Coffee from the very beginning. The first time we did Product Camp Atlanta, Pragmatic Institute was the first sponsor to sign up and say, yeah, we've got your back. And they've been there every year and every event we've ever done to support the product management community. Pragmatic Institute is the leading trainer of product managers and product professionals around the world. They've been doing it longer than anyone else. They've been training and teaching product managers and product professionals when people didn't even know what product management was. Now, there have been a lot of schools and organizations crop up over the last few years to expand that ecosystem. But if you are interested in some professional training and certification, take a look at Pragmatic Institute and please consider supporting them as they've supported us so much over the years. And finally, Feature Upvote provides software for product managers that allows you to really gather voice of the customer in a meaningful way and in a much more affordable way than a lot of competitive products. So Feature Upvote allows you to collect feature suggestions and product suggestions from your customers, and then your customers can vote on those suggestions, and you can have some commentary, some communication back and forth to refine that conversation so you can understand what pain points your customers are explicitly calling out as most important to them in aggregate. We use Feature Upvote at Product Coffee to collect ideas for sessions that you might like to see us conduct at Product Coffee as well. You can go over to productcoffee.com/ideas and look at the suggestions that are there, vote on the suggestions that you'd like to see us produce at Product Coffee, the sessions you'd like to see us have. Or if there's something that you've got on your mind that you'd like to hear about from us, you can make your own suggestion and we'll watch those come in and take the ones that kind of start to rise up in popularity and make sure that we get them on the schedule in the weeks and months ahead. So, and you can see there's quite a few that we've already done. Some of them we've marked as done because they're kind of a completed concept, but others we're going to come back and revisit from multiple angles. So feel free to throw in your commentary and votes at productcoffee.com/ideas. And if you like that software, head over to Feature Upvote and check them out and tell them that Product Coffee sent you. So today, let's switch over to our content. Welcome for those of you who are just joining us on YouTube and who are just joining us here in Zoom. Welcome to Product Coffee. Today, we're going to talk about going from positioning to a vision. And it's an interesting thought because as a general rule, when we think about positioning, we're thinking about a product that is already in market. We're thinking about how do we communicate about this to our customers? And we'll talk a little bit about that and and why we're flipping the conversation from starting with the position to get to a vision. And I'm Jason Brett. I'm the host of Product Coffee, and we have a lot of guest speakers come in. But this week I'm doing this one. I'm stepping out and gonna talk about this. It's a topic I'm pretty passionate about. I've worked with a lot of product people over the years, and I've seen a lot of people struggle with the idea of getting to a true product vision, and a lot of that is because so many of us, unfortunately, end up working in accidentally or intentionally, we end up working in feature factories where the questions we get asked are about when is this item, when is this capability going to be ready for me? Even if you're talking about a design system, it's okay, but I'm interested in the design system, but I need a design for a specific component right now. When are you gonna have that for me? So we get caught up in this trap of talking about and answering to urgent tactical needs. And that makes it very difficult for us to carry our company forward and provide the leadership that we need. And so many groups and products don't have a clear expression of what vision means, of what the vision for their product is. I was fortunate earlier in my product management career when I was working with Silver Pop, we actually had a great vice president of product strategy, Brian Brown. He's over at Terminus now as the chief product officer, and brilliant guy. And he laid out for us a product strategy, a product vision for Silver Pop's product suite. And that was so empowering to all of us on the product management team because we were able to take that and use it as a focal point to prioritize all the work that we did. And by leveraging that product vision, it made it very easy for us to say no to things that fell outside of that vision and didn't contribute to that vision. And it made it very easy for us to explain to all of our customers and users exactly where we were headed and validate that that direction was important to them on an ongoing basis as well. So with that, having said that, I want to roll into, I'm going to do a little setup from a presentation perspective. And from there, we will we'll get into our exercise in a few minutes as well. I'm going to start off with Geoffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm. And the reason this is really interesting is I would suspect that many of you, but not all of you, have read this book. If you haven't, it's a pretty modern business classic. It's been out for quite a few years now, I think probably 15-ish years. The idea behind Crossing the Chasm was really a focus on helping innovative companies that had been focused on who had been creating new technologies that were being adopted by early adopters and high technologists, and getting that from that very early stage of market growth into mass market adoption. And it's been a really compelling book that helped a lot of companies. And one of the concepts that Moore introduced in Crossing the Chasm was a positioning statement template that he created to make it really easy for marketers and sellers to communicate the unique value of the product that they were selling, to help kind of make that transition from those early adopters and those natives to the broader population. And the template looks a little bit like this. It looks exactly like this. So he said, for a specific kind of customer who has a specific kind of need, or that has a pain point that we can address, our product fits in a certain category and has a powerful benefit for you. The flip side of it is there are competitors, and he added a statement of differentiation. So he would call out a specific competitor, a primary competitive alternative, and talk about why your product is different from that competitive alternative. That's really cool and powerful if you're selling a product that's already in market, if you're trying to figure out how to sell something. But the reason that we're talking about it here, and the challenge with it, is is exactly that, is that it's about influencing the buying decision. It's not about influencing the direction that we go or the priorities that we have or the decisions that we make from a product development perspective. Positioning is about things that already exist. It's about crossing the chasm. It's about getting to mass market adoption. It's for selling. But what we as product folks really need to focus on is not the selling side of things. Ultimately, yes, we have to sell product. If we don't ship and we don't sell, then we don't have jobs. But what we're really focused on in product leadership roles is creating and is driving alignment for that creativity. So let's talk about how this template can help to align if you make a little bit of shift in how you look at it. Typically, when we're talking about positioning, we're talking about, we're looking very close to where we're standing right now. We're saying, this is where I am. This is the value that I have. When we talk about, and so in this state right now, you've got somebody crossing a bridge and they're thinking, wow, I'm standing over this chasm. It's a beautiful view. And I've got a lot of steps ahead of me, but this is a pretty exciting moment. The difference between that position and the vision is when I look way up ahead, I'm going to be on top of that rock having lunch in about 15 minutes. That's the vision. It's not about where I'm standing right now. It's about where I'm going and where I want to be. And focusing ahead is where our job really is really focused. When we talked about creating vision a few weeks ago, we talked about an example from Apple, and Steve Jobs quoted as saying, Apple is creating a computer for the rest of it. It was for the rest of us. It was a very simple statement of vision. It wasn't really it wasn't a positioning statement, but it was a very clear vision that we wanted to deliver that Apple wanted to deliver a computer that was not for the high technologist. It was for the everyday creator who wanted to have access to powerful computing in a way that was really comfortable and useful for them without a whole lot of training or a need to do any programming. And that really propelled Apple's popularity early on, and it exploded in the early 2000s when they really kind of shifted their company and put powerful computing in the pockets of so many consumers at a scale that had never been done before, and change the direction of the company forever. So when we look at the template for the positioning statement that Moore proposed, there are a few key elements here that are really critical to product vision. Now, if you're going to develop a product vision and a product strategy, it's not something that you can sit down and do in a 20-minute exercise. Developing a product vision and a product strategy comes over weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years. One of the best ways to pull everybody together to document that vision and that strategy and really putting together a path forward to execute on that vision is to workshop it with a bunch of subject matter experts and leaders within your organization. Pull people together and lead that conversation. But one of the earliest activities that you're going to want to do as part of that is you're going to want to have some focusing activities. And this is where the positioning statement starts. If I flip the conversation about positioning, and instead of writing a positioning statement for a product that exists today, for a place that I am right now, but look at the future, look 3 to 5 years down the road and write that same positioning statement for where the problem my product needs to be solving 3 to 5 years down the road, then I have changed it from positioning to vision. Amazon is famous for one of the techniques that they use. They call it working backwards. And in a working backwards situation, the first thing that a product manager does to pitch a new idea for development is they create a press release. It's a press release that they would put out if the work was done and the product were actually being released. And it talks about the problems that it's solving, what the world's going to look like, what the customer experience is going to be like once that once that work is done. And if that's a compelling vision that people buy into, it gets some forward momentum within the Amazon ecosystem. So if we take this same concept of positioning and look forward into the future and start crafting a statement, a positioning statement for the future, then it becomes a vision statement. It becomes a good foundational tool. And there's some really good key components that you have to think through in order to do that. Who is my target customer? And so often, we get stuck in, hey, we want to be everything for everybody. And we can talk about how difficult, how unwise that statement is. There's always an exception for my company, though. Well, we really can serve everybody. But when we're thinking about a product vision, and when you're expressing that vision, focusing in on the customer that you want to be serving well in 3 to 5 years is key to that conversation. We're focusing in on a pain point or an opportunity point, and this is information that we have. So crafting it into this statement, it gives us kind of this focusing conversation. What category are we going to be serving with our product? Why are people going to be buying this in a few years? What's our primary, and then what is the alternative? What is the competitive alternative? Sometimes it might be a named competitor. It might be a brand that you're competing against. Sometimes it could be the status quo. It could be the existing product that customers are using, their existing workflow. Sometimes the competitor is just simply doing nothing, but having a clear understanding of the behavior and the solution to this opportunity that exists today and how you're going to be changing that and what you're changing is key to establishing a product vision, and how you're going to do it differently so that it delivers differentiated and unique value is key. So I'm trying to kind of whip through this because what I really want to do is I want to get us to into some breakout rooms to work on this in a practical kind of way. We're going to do a quick example together that I kind of walked through last night. And this is Jason Brett sitting and looking at an iPhone 13 and looking at some of the content that Apple has published about the iPhone 13 and some of the promotional material they've had, and say, okay, if I were an Apple product manager a couple of years ago, when I was thinking about some of the capabilities that are going to make their way into the iPhone 13, what are the types of things I might have been thinking? This is not official content from Apple. I didn't steal it. This is me projecting, but I think it's a useful exercise. So I crafted this statement using that same template that we just talked about. And I'm going to call out a couple of key pieces of it here in a moment. But we're going to start with, for creatives who want to tell stories beautifully through photography and video, the iPhone 13 is a mobile video production studio that puts advanced movie making techniques at your fingertips. Unlike bulky digital cameras that capture video for editing elsewhere, our product fits in your pocket and lets you capture, produce, and publish video wherever you are. Now, I don't know how many iPhone owners I've got here on the line today. I'm one. This is not everything that an iPhone is. This is not everything that a smartphone is. This is one small subset of the capabilities, but it's part of a product vision. And somebody owned making this a reality, no matter how they expressed it. There are a couple of key pieces to this that I want to call out. We talked about a target customer. Are creatives the only target customers for an iPhone? Yes, no, maybe no, they're not. iPhone applies to many, many customers, but we focused in on a specific target customer here in establishing that vision. And then we expressed exactly what it is that we were creating. It's a mobile video production studio that puts advanced movie making techniques at your fingertips. If you go look at the Apple iPhone 13 website landing page, you'll see it's talking about some technological capabilities that previously you had to have trained camera operators, cameras with special equipment and filters and dollies to create these types of effects. and then go clean them up and make them look amazing in post-production. So it's and they're taking these advanced movie making techniques and putting them in the hands of, going back to Steve Jobs' quote, into the hands of the rest of us. And finally, our differentiator is that this product doesn't require a bunch of heavy equipment and a bunch of extra software that you have to take back and edit in a studio somewhere. The whole thing fits in your pocket, lets you do everything wherever you might happen to be. Now, that's right now, because we're talking about a product that exists today, this is really kind of a positioning statement. But there's no reason, there's nothing about this statement that couldn't have been crafted 2, 3, 6 years ago by a forward-looking product manager who wanted to create an experience and create a product that solved a specific problem. Now, this becomes step one of establishing that vision and communicating it. Step two is circulating this and creating a forward-looking statement like this, circulating it with stakeholders, circulating it with customers, and validating it, saying, does this speak to you? Does this create the value that you're looking for? I'm working with a company right now that is working on some visionary products that are beyond what customers are actually even thinking about in the realm of possibility today. They're from a feature perspective, they're thinking there are some things that we can create that nobody has ever created before because of this unique technology that we have. Customers don't even know to ask for these types of things. We need to show it to them. We need to express a vision to those customers in terms of a problem or an experience that we can solve for them in a way that's unavailable today. So we're working through that process for things that aren't as simple to communicate as a movie studio. And a movie studio is not simple to communicate. So what I want to do is I want to shift gears here, and I want to do one of these together. And by together, what I'm going to do is we got about 20-ish of us on the call right now. I'm going to break us up into some breakout groups, and we're going to work on this as a group, get to know your colleagues and peers for a few minutes, as well as you work through an exercise. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the Geoffrey Moore positioning template to craft a vision statement for a product. If somebody's really brave and wants to work on your own product, that'd be great. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and you'll work with some product people of varying levels of experience to kind of put that through the ringer. Obviously, you can't give away any confidential information. That's fine. The breakout rooms will not be recorded, will not be streamed. They are, whoever's in your group is in your group, and that's. But we will craft those statements and write them down, and then we're going to come back and talk about it in a few minutes as well. So if you'd like, you can use your own product. But if you don't want to use your own product, if nobody has something they want to work on, I've thrown a few ideas up here, and these are also in the notes document, so you don't have to come back to the slides. But maybe you might want to talk about one of these ideas, a product to relieve localized food shortages. I have an idea for something that I might create to solve that, but let's talk about, who that target customer might be, what their pain point is, and what solutions exist today, and how that and what might change. If we've got any home beer brewers, got an idea there to play with, or making commuting more enjoyable, or something to help write your business emails, or something else. You can come up with something creative that you just think will be a fun topic. It doesn't have to be too serious. The point is to stretch the muscle and exercise the muscle in creating these types of positioning statements from a forward-looking perspective, as opposed to something that exists today. So there's your template. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to send us off into breakout room, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes. So let's circle back on these real quickly and just talk about what you came up with. Take about a minute to a minute and a half. Somebody from room one, if you want to jump in. Amy, I think was pretty passionate about this one.
Yeah, we nominated Amy.
Yeah, I was voluntold. So our product is for lazy home brewers, and you can put like my picture as the product person. Who can't be bothered with all the bottling of the beer once they're done brewing it. So this is called the Lazy Keg. and it's a beer packaging alternative for lazy people. So at the end, you're going to be provided with a simple sterilized beer container to your door for home brews. And this is unlike existing tap systems. So a little bit of background: instead of like installing a tap system in your house and then keeping the keg clean yourself and going to the beer supply store and cleaning the keg and getting new CO2, and you see where this is all going. Instead, just every 2 months or whenever, they'll just deliver you a clean, sterilized mini keg with all the appropriate CO2 hookups, and all you have to do is just dump your beer in there, and then you give them back your old, gross, dirty keg. And so that is it. And so then you can have all the fun of brewing and none of the pain in the butt of packaging.
That's great. I love this because it took a meaningful problem that you had some knowledge about, but more importantly, you didn't get into feasibility, you didn't get into the how you're going to do it. And that's something, a product vision doesn't need to get into the how. It's about, what is the experience going to be like when I'm done, when it gets there. And I think this is a great example on all those fronts. We've got a very specific target audience. Not just home brewers, but lazy home brewers. You might restate that a little bit. You might think about, there are people who actually enjoy the bottling of beer because they want to drink it out of a bottle, but that's okay. That is not who this product is for. This product is for people who don't want to fool with the bottles. I love the product name. I went and bought the domain name. Not really. Somebody else can actually go do that. So well done, team one, room one. Good job, folks. This is a really good example. We also got a pretty interesting discussion about another real world problem in room two. We kind of started out talking about employee security and pivoted into a broader consumer problem. So who wants to talk about this one?
I could talk about it. It's like, yeah. So for all of us who are about to get arrested by the IRS, who are coming to our door currently, so they tell us. So we're putting out the RoboStop 2000, which is for everybody who owns a cell phone who's looking to gain some sanity, and only wants their phone to ring when there's somebody actually real on the other end of the phone. And unlike other products, it's going to actually perform a verification as the incoming call is coming, and it's going to source it, and it's going to like a lot of the Equifax identity protocols, it's going to run out there and grab the IP address and the geolocation and the sourcing, so that it'll only ring if it's a true call.
Very cool. So it kind of overcomes spoofing as well as the robocall thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I would certainly appreciate that. Then I could go back to actually answering my phone when people call.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I think all of us, we look at it, we're like, no.
Oh, no, yeah, it's not answering. Sorry. Thank you, team two. Once again, no conversation about how we're going to do it, just kind of what the experience is going to be like, what kind of a general technology, but it's what it's doing. We're going to say we're going to perform verification real time. I'll say how we're going to do that, how we're going to accomplish it. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you confidence that your call is coming to a real person to be verified.
Jason, your audio is getting choppy again.
Make sure I'm on the right. Thank you. I will lean in and hope for the best. So let's go to our last room, really who wants to talk about that.
I'll jump in here. It was a problem that I experienced this past weekend. I read every morning in the kitchen with the back door open, and one of my cats decided to bring in a chipmunk. And so I had to and proceed to take it through the kitchen into the rest of the house. So I had to chase her down and figure out how to catch this thing with the cat and dog helping. So the product is for pet owners who want to allow their pets to have in-out privileges, but keep the critters out. We were talking about product names at the end. None of us were really marketers, so it's either the critter excluder or the critter keeper outer. But it's a next level smart door that keeps your home clean and safe of critters, dead or alive. And unlike the other smart doors that are out there in the market today, that allow you to bring in your pets to bring in unwanted friends or dirt, this product knows that it's your pet and can identify when the pet is dirty or is carrying extra baggage.
So those were great examples. I hope you guys had fun working through those exercises, and to just kind of like flex that muscle a little bit. Like I say, you know, what I'd really do is I would take this take this concept as a foundational point. It's a piece that I would workshop, and I think it applies even to your situation, Gabe, as we were talking about earlier as well. The outcome will look a little bit different, but use that as the foundation for a workshop that leads into the strategy about how you're going to actually get there and starts working through the feasibility aspect of it. And this is only one piece. You know, a true product vision is going to have lots of different layers and dimensions. So if we go back to thinking about the iPhone 13 example a moment ago, we talked about, you know, the iPhone itself is a product, and there are lots of different capabilities and lots of different use cases for it. So the product vision for that one is going to be a lot more complex than something that's solving a very specific single problem like the lazy keg, for example. You'll likely go through this exercise multiple times for a single product to establish some forward-looking statements. And then there are lots of ways you can blow that out. You don't need to publish in exactly this template. This is a tool to help pull your thinking together, facilitate a conversation, and get something down on paper that you can then craft to really deliver the message internally and externally that you want to deliver. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes real quickly and switch back to sharing and take you to the product coffee. The same thing that we did for product coffee a couple of weeks ago. We had a team meeting for a lot of the key volunteers who work on bringing product coffee to you every week. And let's see, did this go to full screen for everyone? It's look good. Okay, great. So this is the you know, product coffee has been growing a lot over the last year, and it's been about a year, so a little bit over a year since we started this. And you know, we've kind of gone back and forth about what product coffee is really about. And as we sat down and really thought about the people who are joining us every week and the ongoing conversations we have and why it is that we do this, we wanted to take the same idea, take the same template, and express a vision out to all of you and get your thoughts and comments on it both now and in the future, but use this as a guiding star for the types of content that we're going to create and the types of activities that we're going to really focus on and lean into over the next couple of years. So product coffee is for product people who want to grow professionally and personally, and who want to deliver products that positively impact their customers and company. And product coffee provides the community, learning resources, and events, 3 things to do both to achieve both of those goals. Unlike user groups that serve to promote a specific product, a framework, or philosophy, and you can think about some of those entities that are out there, product coffee provides an independent environment for sharing practical experiences to support one another in our daily product challenges and opportunities. So this is about creating a forum for us to learn and help each other deliver better products and improve our careers and our abilities as a team. And as this community continues to grow worldwide, I'm really excited to connect more and more people and find the right places for us to connect in that community to share those resources and events as well. So love your feedback and thoughts on this session, as well as kind of the perspective that we're taking on product coffee and where we're taking it going forward. Let that kind of gel with you for a few minutes. But I think, key to us was, we're here for product people, and product people is a pretty broad term, but it's people who are responsible for getting products to market in one way, shape, or form, whether it's creating them, developing them, designing them, or managing them, and who want to grow professionally and personally. This is not here for people who are just looking for a networking event, who are just looking for, or who are just interested in holding down a job. This is for people in a growth mindset, and who want to deliver products that have impact. And those are kind of some real characteristics that we are really passionate about and want to help you do as well. I want to thank everybody for joining us this week.